Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show at night with your host and star, Josh Beckish. Ba-doo bop boop scoo-doo, hey, ba-doo-ba-doo-hey, skoo-doo bop boop boo boo, wop ba ba da bop. Here's Josh.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I can't believe we made it this far, but we're on episode 2.
The deuce.
We have made it. Yeah, we have dropped it. We're dropping a deuce all over everybody here. Once again, thank you all for coming. Tonight's show should be a lot of excitement and a lot of entertainment for you guys. As always, my lovely co-host Biron is in the house. Everybody give it up for Biron.
Hello, good people. Hello. Thank you for having me, Josh. Nice to see you again.
Always.
Yes, my pleasure.
So this week, there was a lot of competition. We weren't able to nail down exactly who to have on as a guest for this episode, so we're gonna go guest list tonight.
Guest list. All right.
It's just gonna be
that's okay. Yeah, we're still working on the Bob thing. Or are we gonna table that for a while?
There's
thinking about Bob.
There's a lot of Bobs out there, so we are going to we've reached out to every Bob, and we'll see which ones we feel deserve to be on the show the most.
Absolutely. Right. Yep. Makes sense.
I added a new addition to this night's show, adding on to my whole pencil thing. I've also added this. Tell me what you think about
it. That seemed very natural and not forced at all. I think it was well done.
I mean, I feel like it's a staple of all talk shows. So,
sure.
There you go.
Yep. Vitamin water. Yeah, they hydrate. Right. For sure.
Gotta stay hydrated today. It was very hot out.
It was hot. I went for a very long walk. As you know, I came by your place to no avail. I stood curbside and beckoned you, but there was no one home.
Unfortunately, I did miss that. Well, thank you, David Letterman. That's high praise coming from you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought, we got some things we definitely got to work out, but, we're working on it.
Josh. Hey, Josh, I'm here to rehearse the show.
No, it's just Biron outside my house.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
I didn't even know you knew where I lived.
Come outside. We got to rehearse the show.
No. I'm not going out there.
I stopped by to rehearse the show, but Josh isn't home. I won't take my call. We got to rehearse the show at night.
This guy really has lost it. I'm gonna go take it down.
Well, you didn't miss much. It was just me, so it's not like, I was just, it was at the end of my walk. I thought, do a little stuff. Again, no door. As we mentioned last episode, I'm going to respect your boundaries. I'm not going to knock on the door. You don't want me knocking on the door. I don't know who else has been knocking on your door. So
plenty of people.
A couple little yells. And then the utility guy in his truck kind of gave me a look like, what are you doing here? And I just went about my business. I walked home.
Well, I'm going to have to call his superior and suggest he get a raise for doing that, because I would have been very upset had he just let you wander around.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what? We don't have a guest tonight, but we've got us, so we might as well get right down to the
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
At hand. Well, I mean, I figure, if we don't have anybody to talk about, we might as well talk about something topical. And then the biggest thing out there right now, the thing that's on everyone's minds right now, is this Tiger King docu-series that's going on Netflix.
Yes. It is literally neck and neck with COVID-19 as far as what's being talked about more.
Mm-hmm. One's a little more manageable and a little more enjoyable to embrace, but yes.
And the other one's a TV show. I reluctantly, against my will in some ways, dipped my toe there, right? I went in. I thought, we talked about it. I might as well get familiar with it. And my experience was I didn't stop. I went all the way through. The only time in my life I've ever completely binge watched something from beginning to end in one sitting. I mean, I did take a little break in the middle of the night, but I watched every episode last night, and I was traumatized. I'm not gonna. So, it was disturbing to me, in all the ways possible.
It's definitely it's an interesting cast of characters for sure. You really get a look into, I mean, obviously we're all aware that things like these animal sanctuaries and stuff like that exist, and you go on a road trip, you see them on the side of the road, but you never pull over because it looks like a lunatic is running the place. But
Exactly.
this really gave everybody a look at the inside world of how kind of crazy the animal world can be.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a couple. My first big shock, in just again with my initial introduction to this, I'd seen the headshots of the main, the protagonist, Joe Exotic, right? I was shocked that he was built the way he was, because from his headshot, I pictured him built more like me, that has to shop in the Danny DeVito collection of stocky, portly guys. I was amazed that he was as long and lanky as he was, but that was my first impression. But I got past that pretty quickly. The second thing now,
you didn't look at him as a man that stays in shape.
no, but meth will do that, I guess. Meth will keep you skinny,
This is true.
and some mental illnesses keep you skinny, some of that, those chemical imbalances have their way of increasing your metabolism. So
Right.
now, what are the ground rules here? Are we on a no spoiler kind of thing? But
I'd say no major spoilers, but I mean, I think there's enough out there where if you haven't seen it
I
at this point, you've probably heard enough about it to where a spoil. I mean, and to be honest, it's not like Game of Thrones or anything. There's nothing that's going to happen at the end where you're going to be devastated to have heard ahead of time.
Okay, so you can edit this. I'll give you this. We'll take a little. This you can edit this out if you choose to later. But I wish, and I'm sure I'm not alone, but I'm just going to put this out there. I was actually hoping for a murder. I thought there would have been a murder. Now I won't say any more than that. You know what I mean? But I was hoping for a murder after I got knee deep and then waist deep and neck deep in the first 80 minutes of it. I thought, oh well, we're gonna end it. This is all gonna wrap up with a murder. But little disappointed there. But
there were no confirmed murders. Certainly there are.
Well, that's true. I guess I was talking specifically more about one individual. But yes,
no.
The other thing, that definitely was a murder, by the way, just unconfirmed, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, not trying to spoil anything here, but the said possible murder that does get brought up in the show, apparently due to all of the the mass viewings and all the information being out there now, apparently the case that was, I guess, a cold case, as they say, regarding a possible a disappearing person from years back,
yes,
and has been is in the process of being reopened.
That's great news.
Yeah, and so they will be looking into that.
Right. Justice should not be left unfinished.
Test that grinder, I say. Test that meat grinder.
DNA swabbing is in order for sure.
I'm sure. So, you know what? The by the looks of these people, there's plenty of DNA laying around out there. So
all over the place. All over the place.
How do you feel about the fact that at one point in time, and I don't know if you saw anything about this, but one of the characters, a Dr. Antel, whatever his name is.
Antel.
he, you know, now photographs are surfacing of him throughout the years. He has been the man that, you know, provided certain celebrities with a tiger or another wild animal while they were doing some sort of performance or video or, you know, what have you. What do you, what do you, how do you feel about that? Are you interested in this, or is this just, you know, a
Am
non?
I interested in his celebrity connection to powerful people? Is that what the question is about, or am I interested? Well, he overall, in my opinion, was a little bit under investigated.
Mhm.
Okay, in that expose that traumatized me and gave me nightmares. I thought there was a lot going on there that, well, first of all, we can back up a little bit. Every single person that put their face on that screen is a criminal in one way or another, in my opinion. All of them criminals. All of them completely shady, undesirables. Even in a non-COVID-19 environment, I would cross to the other side of the street if they were coming my way. I just would not want to interact with any of those people. Even the ones, okay, so there's an image that has stuck with me, and it's not even what would be probably touted as one of the most disturbing, but the beach photos of one of the lady protagonists, Carol. We can say her name. That's not blowing anything. Her name's Carol Baskin.
Carol with an
With
E at the end, which I thought was
Carol,
yeah, yeah.
Carol.
I did not like that, and I immediately disliked her for
Oh,
it.
immediately disliked her. When she has her now current husband, Howard, on a leash on the beach, and I thought there's something terribly, terribly wrong with that.
They have a very interesting dynamic. Um, I can't imagine what is going on in that household. Any man
No,
agrees to take his wedding photo. This is a bit of a spoiler, but you'll see it if you haven't watched it. I feel like if
right.
you're watching this show, you've probably watched Tiger King already. Um, yeah,
It's a natural progression.
I mean, people love, if you like one train wreck, you like all the train wrecks. But yeah, they get married, and their wedding photo is Carol in her ensemble, and he is dressed in with a leash around his neck and some sort of cloth over him, a little bit covering some of him. Not all. He's mostly topless.
Like a Tarzan onesie, kind of.
Yeah, that's a good. That is a good comparison.
Mm-hmm.
But
With the leash and down on his knees in a very submissive, help me position and look on his face.
yeah, the last time I saw a man that looked like that wearing a leash was a group of men I saw one evening walking to the leather bar, and that's all. But I'm
not surprising that you were in a leather bar, but we'll leave that for another night.
Strictly just driving by.
Of course, for research purposes. I understand.
I mean, everybody's got their neighborhood leather bar. It's no big deal.
No problem with me.
There was a bear involved in the logo. I'm not totally sure what was going on in there. It was a bear with a leather hat and a vest, and he was going like this.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming
the second most disturbing thing, and it revolves around the same character. And again, we're talking about a silo full of disturbing images and things. I mean, there's no end to the disturb factor that goes on there. But early in the docu-series, it's revealed by the character herself. I guess she's not a character. I guess she's a real person. I keep calling her a character, but
these are people with real feelings.
These are real people. This really happened. There was news. Anyway, she says, I didn't have many friends, so I had 2 imaginary white cat friends. So if there's anything sadder than not having friends and cats are your only friends, it's having imaginary cats as your only friends.
Yeah.
So
a cat is incredibly attainable. And
that's a great point.
So
a great point.
To pretend that you are having a cat is very wild. Have you heard any of the news, and are you, and if so, well, first of all, I'll ask one question. What were your feelings about the musical component of the show?
Okay, I do have some thoughts on that. And, the first thing was the speaking voice of Joe Exotic resembles nothing. It has no, the singing voice sounds like somebody completely different. There's nothing, no connection there for me.
Well, then apparently you have not heard the news. It has since come out that that was not him singing.
Of course not.
He was lip syncing, as they say in the music industry. Milli Vanilli famously did the same thing.
Yes.
And,
yes.
you know,
That's I did not hear that as actual factual news, but that's not at all surprising. There's no way that someone who talked the way he talked could all of a sudden morph that into a singing voice that was in a completely different lower register. And although it's not my style of music and the songs were poorly written and, at best adequately performed, he doesn't have the ability to even adequately perform. There's no way. So
I remember watching, and then the videos came up of his songs, and I remember thinking, like, wow, like this for who the guy is, he's got a really nice voice. Not saying that the voice was anything that I heard and thought,
right.
This is a superstar in the making, but
No,
for him, I thought
exactly.
it was a shocking surprise. And but I must disagree with you. I thought the lyrical content of the songs was genius. And
Really?
I thought yes, I thought.
Well,
I mean, I saw a tiger, and a tiger saw a man. That is very poetic, and an apt description of a tiger and a man looking at each other.
well, you have a point there. I'm not going to argue with you. Maybe I need to, reinvestigate those lyrics.
Rewatch the series tonight and get back to me by the next show.
There's no possible way that's going to happen. No possible way.
So since we don't have a guest tonight, and we're going to try to fill some time and not take up as much time maybe as we did in the last episode, I thought, with this show correlating with the popularity of Tiger King, they're neck and neck.
I think we have the edge, actually.
I mean, I think after this, we will officially have taken over first place. But there's a lot of people, Hollywood has been buzzing. A lot of big time actors are out there, and they want to they want to play these people in a biopic, an actual Hollywood produced film about the Tiger King cast. And so, I figured as long as we're out here, as long as we have this monstrous platform at the moment, I figured why not have us throw our hats in the ring?
Oh.
And give it a shot, and maybe maybe we dive in there. I'm not, I'm willing to go ahead.
So like a little screen test kind of thing is what you're saying. Just a few lines is what we're gonna do.
I've got a script right here in front of me with a few key moments. I've sent you the same.
Okay, let me pull that up. Oh, look, it's pulled up.
And I figure, we can kind of bounce back and forth, and we each take a turn, and we can give each other a little review on how we think.
Sure. Okay. I haven't had a chance to rehearse, so I will defer to you, Your Majesty, and please, why don't you get us started with this little fun?
I will. Okay.
Thank you.
I will begin this with, I will be playing the part of Joe Exotic, and the scene that I will be engaging in here will be this is where Joe Exotic runs for president and releases his campaign video. So just to make sure we don't take anything away from me, I'm going to cut your microphone momentarily. And
please do.
And I will take center stage, as I believe is the only way to accomplish this, but you may watch.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so this will be me reading for the part of Joe Exotic, running for president of the United States of America. And I feel like I'm on set right here. I give everybody a good look let me see if I can just, here, I'll pop over in his place. Okay. Once again, I will mute your microphone
Please.
and here we go. Here is me as Joe Exotic. I'm Joe Exotic, and today this is not going out to any kind of presidential candidate or any politician, because the purpose of this video today is to let you know who I am. First thing is, I am not cutting my hair. I'm not changing the way I dress. I refuse to wear a suit. I am gay. I've had 2 boyfriends most of my life. I currently got legally married. Thank God it's finally legal in America. I've had some kinky sex. I have tried drugs through the younger years of my life. I'm broke as shit. I have a judgment set against me from some bitch down there in Florida, but I can tell you I paid a fine with the USDA, and that is nothing but a civil fine, ladies and gentlemen. That does not mean that I was accused or convicted of any kind of animal cruelty thing. I've built one of the largest and biggest facilities and nicest facilities for exotic animals in this country as far as a private individual goes. I'm Joe Exotic, and don't forget, I am now stepping my foot in the ring for president, and this is all paid for by the Committee for Joe Exotic Speaks for America.
Bravo. Bravo. Bravo.
I think,
Yeah.
I really felt it there with the background. So
Sure. That's a nice component.
It is a nice component. Okay. Well,
I'm gonna.
thoughts,
You mind if I take a shot at this?
Yeah, please go ahead. I mean, I don't think,
All right.
I don't know if mine could have gotten any better. Why don't you take, let's see, I wrote down, we have a few scenes here. How about you?
Well, we just go in order.
Why don't you handle the one in which Joe has a conversation with one of his gentleman friends?
Yes, please. Okay, thank you.
I will.
All right, let me.
Give me just a second here. I will mute myself, and then
Oh.
the floor is yours.
Okay. All right. So the setup for this scene is Joe's talking to a young gentleman that he is courting, we'll say, trying to persuade him to have relations with him. So this is the same character, Joe Exotic. So, you watch porn? He says, yeah. I said, well, do you enjoy the guy with the little one doing her? Or do you enjoy the guy with the big one doing her? And he said, well, obviously you want to watch the guy with the big one. And I said, well, you ain't that straight.
That was, I mean, the only word I can come up with right now is brilliant. And
Thank you.
I really felt the emotion and the truthfulness there, almost as if that was an actual conversation you've had before, which I don't doubt.
All right, so your turn.
I'll give it one more. I'll give it one more shot with Joe here, a little shorter one.
Yeah.
This is, of course, a classic scene. Once again, this is a spoiler alert here. So if you're watching and you have not watched the show, skip ahead a little bit, 20, 30 seconds, and you won't know what I'm about to talk about. But this is the classic scene in which Mr. Joe Exotic must inform the people that are visiting his establishment that an employee of his has just had their arm eaten by a tiger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very impactful scene. We all remember that. If you watched the documentary, then yes, of course, then you remember this scene. It was very big. But so yeah, I will now I will read that. Let me see. What's new? All right, I will. This will be my audition up against Dax Shepard, who is a celebrity who has expressed interest in the role. And so this I will send this out to him, and then maybe we can have a back and forth. Okay, so this is Joe Exotic telling everybody that a tiger has literally ripped the arm off of one of his employees. And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, before you hear it on the news, I'm going to tell you myself. About an hour ago, we had an incident where one of the employees stuck their arm through the cage and a tiger tore her arm off. I can give you your money back, or I can give you a rain check.
Yeah. I mean, you got it. You nailed it. You nailed that one again. Again, you're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2.
I think I nailed the emotion that was flowing out of him, which was much more concerned with the fact that he was about to lose a few bucks from the day.
For sure.
Having to give these people a refund.
Than the mangled, irreparable arm of his underpaid, emotionally abused staff member. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you're working somewhere and you're eating the leftover food from Walmart, the thing that's on your mind the most is wanting to get your arm eaten off.
Right. You mind if I go for one here?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna switch up characters. I'd like, maybe we'll go to one of the I wouldn't call him a subset, but not a main, whatever, different guy in the show here.
Okay.
And just to kind of give the audience an idea for those that haven't seen it, this guy
when the movie comes out, there's going to be multiple roles. We shouldn't tie ourselves down to one character.
Absolutely. Right. And, just like in the Elizabethan times of stage acting, the men played multiple roles and all of the men played the women too. So we'll get to that later on. But, there were no actresses back in Shakespeare's time. So
correct.
All actors playing both sexes. So this guy runs a competitor or a fellow zookeeper. His angle on it's a little different. He brings young women. He's basically the Charles Manson of zookeepers, right? I mean,
yes, we brought him up earlier. He's the one that has rubbed elbows with celebrities and exotic animals so much over the years.
All right, so this is it's early on in the docuseries. He introducing himself, one of his first times on camera. So here we go.
I will mute myself, and you. The floor is yours.
Oh, I was gonna get a hat. I don't have the exact hat, so we'll just skip it for now. Picture me with a safari hat. All right, imaginary safari hat. So I am Dr. Bhagavan Antle, Bhagavan Antle, Antle, Dr. Bhagavan Antle.
With a tear in my eye, I can say that was dead on. That was some of the best work I've seen you do.
Thank you. I mean, I don't know who I relate to more at this point. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really, soul search the characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Dr. Antle is somebody that, I could learn a little bit from him, in his persuasive ways with,
Right. And
we'll leave it.
If not Dr. Antle, one of his many wives.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll hop back in here.
Sure.
Let's see. I'm trying to. I could have been a little more prepared for this. Okay, I will. There is a female component to the docu series. There's a woman that received a lot of negative feedback. Not a lot of people are a big fan of hers, and there's a woman that possibly has done some horrible things that she's gotten away with for a long time. So I feel like we're at a very progressive point in time in American culture. So just in case the role is open to men and women, I will now be reading for the part of a one Carol Baskin, who runs a wildlife sanctuary down in Florida, but basically did the exact same thing everybody else did. And then she, yelled at them about trying to get their stuff shut down. So if you would please give me this moment to address everyone in my, let me dig deep down into my inner female self. Not at all stalling to find this picture. Okay, here we are. This is me reading for the role of, whatever. Reading for the role of Carol Baskin, who, as you can see by the picture, is larger,
has no face.
Is larger than life. Okay. Get my hair done here. Okay, once again, I will mute you momentarily. And
I would love that.
I will be reading for the part of Carol Baskin. Here it goes. You can see how they go from being so sweet to just wanting to tear your face off, and they can do it like that. And it's like, oh, that's amazing to have that kind of range and that speed. And that's it.
That was without question by far your best performance of the night. Best performance of the night. Yeah. You are very much in touch with your feminine. Well, yeah.
Feminine
energy for sure. No, that was fantastic. Before I was gonna maybe read that also in a comparison kind of thing. There's no need. We're gonna move along. You have that part. That part's yours.
Well, thank you.
I can't do any better than that. No possible way. So
well, thank you so much. Okay, well, let's see. How about I don't go ahead and give me I don't know. Who would you like to jump back into Joe, or is there anybody else here that you'd like to
well, I mean, we could just run.
Obviously, we're not here for bit parts. We're here for the main.
Right. I mean, so I'll give it the line. This is kind of a follow-up to one of the earlier scenes that you read, right?
Yeah.
So I'll try give this a shot here. I haven't done much rehearsing on this, but I do remember the scene, and that should probably be enough. So the setup. This is a follow-up scene to where Joe announces to his pending guests in the gift shop. It appeared to me after the mutilation of the young woman's arm. This is back in the office, and this is his. This is what he says. Says something. It goes like this.
Let me take myself out of the audio here and have at it.
Okay. Oh my God, I'm never gonna financially recover from this. I don't know. I didn't really get it. I don't think I really nailed it. I'm not sure.
I mean, if you want to give it another shot.
Yeah, let me give it another shot. Let me see if I can do better than that. I kind of fumbled there in the middle. I was thinking of the scene. I was visualizing.
Yeah, well, I mean, just take a moment, really embrace the situation, and take it away.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Oh my God, I am never gonna financially recover from this.
That was better.
Yeah, it was better. It was. It wasn't great, but it was better.
It was. I mean, but it was. I'd say it's up there with. I'd say it's up there towards the top. I say, if anything, that's a definite shot at. Maybe they shoot him in different. It goes over multiple years, so maybe that you get a different year of Joe Exotic in that one.
Yes. Yeah, you know what, the just to go a little sidebar here, I did notice in some of the footage that, and I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but one of the characters throughout most of the footage has very few teeth. Very few. Yes. Like a couple, maybe 4 total. And earlier on, he had a few more. In a couple of the still shots early on when he was younger. So, he wasn't born without all those teeth. Right. Something happened and they went away. Teeth went away.
It has since come out that he did get his teeth fixed. So he is currently, and apparently, according to a few people, he got them fixed before the documentary, and they told him to take them out. So nobody's totally sure exactly what's going on, but
it plays better without teeth for sure.
Oh, absolutely! It's
way more. Yeah, it's way more unsettling without the teeth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. All right.
Your turn.
If you don't mind, I'm going to take a stab at another character, a man that I feel like had a lot to do with everything, was one of the stars of the feature, yet isn't getting the recognition I feel like he deserves. And that was, what's his name? The Rick something.
Rick.
Yeah.
He was actually the only person, from my estimation, that at one point in his life had a legitimate mainstream career.
Yeah, he was
he was a reporter for Inside Edition or I mean, whatever. So maybe that's not, whatever. He wasn't on 60 Minutes, but he had a legit reporting career.
But he was on the Inside Edition, and that's better than being on the Outside Edition.
For sure.
And he had a couple good moments. And so, in case that comes up, which I'm sure it would have to in the feature film, I will be reading for the part of Rick. All right, let me get myself together here. Let me really dive back into what he was all about, and let's see. All right, and here we go. This was me reading for the part of Rick. He started getting so crazy to where he had a rubber blow-up doll, and he would have Carol written on a name tag on it, and he would take a dildo and be shoving it in her mouth. Carol, this is coming for you. It's gonna catch up. I mean, it got crazy. Crazy. And
yes. Yeah, I mean, you're just the next is better than the last. It's fantastic.
I mean, as a highly trained actor, I just, I know that you have to prep and you have to be ready to adjust and not only embrace the character, but make the character your own in a way. And that's what I've been trying to do with all of these.
Okay. Look at it. Yeah.
I think we're giving the people a pretty good idea. I say let's run through one more for you. And
for me.
Yeah, we'll have you do one.
Okay.
I have a scene here, maybe where we could both jump in here.
Sure.
I'll be playing the role of a news reporter, director, whatever cameraman, whatever the man is, and you will once again be playing, taking on the role of a one Mr. Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. So I'm Joe Exotic in this. Okay. All right.
Okay. Let me get myself.
Don't mute us. We got this. This is where the talent interacts with each other. So
no muting going on here. I just want to get myself into a mental state. Okay, Joe Exotic back on the table.
Okay.
All right, and whenever you are ready, sir.
Mic check. Check, check, check.
Whenever you're ready.
Exotic for the people of America. How was that?
That was awesome. That was great. And you know what? That was awesome. That was great. I think we did.
That felt so natural. It just really flowed well, I think.
Well, you and Joe Exotic have a lot in common. So, but I think we've done everything we can for tonight.
Yeah.
I think
sure.
I think we've got a lot of material to save for, we could keep going, but I say save it for next show. Yeah,
there's a ton. We'll just keep rolling with this. That was good. So that this was, I mean, I think it's up to you, obviously, but I think there's probably enough material coming out of that Tiger King show that this may not be the last time we visit.
Well, yeah,
I mean, there's a lot going on there.
I don't know if you heard the news, but with how big the show's gotten and how much everybody's talking about it, they've announced that I guess they had, I mean, I can only imagine they were
our show or our show or the Tiger show.
Well, both.
Right.
There was just so much, I guess, extra footage laying around, and since the people are just going nuts over this, they apparently there will be a brand new episode coming out this week.
No, really?
It's gotten to the point where it's being so talked about,
demand,
and people just want it so much that a new episode will be coming out this week. I'm dying to see what it's all about, and yeah, I think we will. We'll have to watch that. Maybe perhaps a special episode. We'll do a live
You
viewing together,
okay? Sure.
not
Absolutely.
together in
No, no, with the appropriate social distancing, right?
yes,
Via yes,
a socially
absolutely.
distant
Yeah.
viewing.
No, we're not breaking quarantine for that show.
Right,
That
absolutely.
that that does. We can have a little teaser. There's a little teaser. Well, one of the questions I was going to ask you, and we can get into this next time, is in theory, who are the people, or what would the situation be for you to break quarantine, whatever quarantine means to you right now? What does that look like? So there is a situation, like there's a magic number, right? There's a magic number for
Yeah.
everything. What would you? So just kind of mull that over. We can think about that. Whatever. What would that look like?
Okay, I'll think very hard, and if I actually just leave and go do something this week, I'll let you know that is the answer we've come up with.
That was what it was. Right, right. It could be as simple as, a hot dog from Quick Trip. Although I doubt they're serving those currently. That seems
I
like
hope not.
probably too. I would hope not too, but I haven't been inside a Quick Trip in a long time because I'm quarantining.
Exactly. Staying safe and distant from everybody except for my house, apparently. But we will.
I was still at an appropriate distance.
Okay, well, I'll be the judge of that. All right. Well, we want to thank everybody
Thank you.
for joining us.
Yeah.
We will be back. As I announced the other day, we will be trying our best to bring you new episodes Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Couple episodes a week, give the people something to do, something to watch, and hopefully, we'll ride the success of our debut episode and carry on with that.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it, and it's always a pleasure working with you.
As always, thank you for coming on, and as I always say here on the show at night with Josh, bye.